That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I was going into I was not gonna say कि civil servant gets higher.
Hi guys.
Welcome to another video of TCSBaba. So before I start the video, Shuho
Now to all of you.
Today's video is about a much requested video. In my Telegram channel, you have been requesting what's the difference between the bank job and a state civil service job. What are the different perks of both the jobs? This video is specifically geared toward answering all these questions.
So stay tuned till the end. So basically before we start with, we would like to introduce ourselves. Otherwise, like whoever will be visiting our channel for the first time might get confused as to why we are talking about both these jobs. So he's a civil servant and he is in TCS since
Tripura
the last
2016.
Last 5 years almost, and I'm an assistant manager in an RRB. So basically I joined as a PO. So we both are talking about these two jobs specifically. He will talk about the civil service, I will talk about the bank.
First question is the selection procedure. In the civil service, the state civil service in Tripura, there are three phases: the preliminary, the mains, the interview phase. Preliminary is basically the MCQ phase. Mains has a little bit of MCQ and mostly written exam, and everything is offline. You have to write it down in the paper or through an OMR sheet. An interview phase is normally like an interview.
So for banks, if you are appearing for PO, so there are like three phases: the prelims, the mains, and an interview. And if you are applying for clerical jobs, then there is only two phases. That is the prelims and the mains, and the final result will be declared on the basis of mains. So that is it.
So in a sense, to get into a bank, there are two criteria. Either you join as a officer.
Clerical jobs are also called as SWOs, that is single window operators.
But civil service, there is only one option. You enter as an officer. There is no other option. Coming to the syllabus, see, there is a vast difference between the syllabus. In bank, you can say the banking syllabus can be considered as 20 or 30% similar to what a civil service exam syllabus is. Mostly in the preliminary phase of civil service exam, we have GK, current affairs, some quantitative numerical aptitude are there, which are of class 10 level, you can say, max to max class 10 level. Coming to the bank exams.
See, bank exams are based on four things. That is your numerical, that is the quants. The second is your reasoning, and third is your English, and fourth is your general awareness, which is mostly not GK. I would say it has got static awareness, it has got the current affairs, and you will get at least 20 to 30% of the questions from banking awareness.
Okay.
So these are the four things.
So the economics part or business newspaper are quite important in that case.
Yes, and there are several sites from where you can study. If anybody wants to know, please comment down below. I will let you guys know.
The level of quantitative, numerical, logical reasoning, that's quite much higher.
Okay,
yeah, obviously. Much higher than what's being asked in civil service exam. These two are totally different, and the preparation has to be totally geared in a different sort of pattern. You can't, in my personal opinion, you can't be preparing for bank and sitting for
both the things are totally different. For banks, they demand mostly practice, and practice.
Exactly.
That's how you can manage your time, that's how you can gain that accuracy. So basically, if you are aiming for banking, two things you have to keep in mind, that is speed and accuracy. You just need these two things. There is normalization of scores as well, because banking exams takes place over like 2 to 3 weeks, and there are like 5-6 sets of question papers. So ultimately, when all the exams get over and there is a time to declare your scores, they normalize the scores according to the
hardness of your
question paper,
difficulty level of the question. That sort of normalization is not there in civil service exam.
What is the first designation that you get?
And see, the main difference is the civil service job is a gazetted post. Gazetted post by default means your names or your result will be declared in the state, or if you are appearing for UPSC, it will be in the central gazette, the government gazette. So that's a gazetted post. The first post is you are Tripura Civil Service grade 2 officer, and you are by default a deputy collector. That's your first post, deputy collector probationer.
For us, it's a probationary officer, what you know as a PO, and you will be a probationer for the first 2 years of your service. After that, you will be automatically called as an assistant manager. And in few banks, they do also have exams. They conduct exams after the probation period gets over, and then you are termed as an assistant manager, and in others you automatically get a confirmation letter.
So once you join in as a civil service officer, you are by default a deputy collector probationer for the period of your training plus your attachment in any SDM or DM's office. So once that period gets over, you are by default a deputy collector. And in terms of promotional aspect or the hierarchy from at the level of deputy collector, you can also be a BDO, block development officer. You can also be a deputy director. You can be also posted outside of Tripura in what do you call it, Tripura Bhavans also. Our promotional aspect is once you cross from grade 2 to grade 1 officer, and then selection grade, senior selection grade, and then you may be nominated to be an IS officer also.
How long does it take?
So to become a grade 1 officer from grade 2 to grade 1, the minimum time is 10 years. An SDM is a grade 1 officer by default. 10 years is the minimum time when you can be an SDM and many other various higher posts. And after that, obviously it will take some time to become a senior selection grade, and normally within let's say 20-25 years you will be eligible to get nominated to IS officer.
In terms of bank, the promotional aspect is much better than the civil service, because the first 2 years you are working as a probationer, you become an assistant manager, and then someone asked me about the RRB promotion and the
PSB promotion.
Okay, so these days there has been a lot of things going on.
So RRB is Regional Rural Bank,
yeah,
and PSB is Public Sector.
Yeah, Public Sector Bank.
So
the thing is, for RRBs, the promotion parity has not yet been achieved, but it will soon be. Okay, so for now it is like for RRBs, if you are a probationary officer, then it will take you 6 years to get promoted to scale 2. Probationary officers are by default scale 1 officers, and the next scale is scale 2, that is your designation will be a branch manager, that is BM. So for the PSB, it is a much lesser time frame. It takes 3 to 4 years for you to come up as scale 2 branch manager from scale 1. And after that you have scale 3, scale 4, scale 5, scale 6. It goes on. And I would say, like in their case, it takes 10 years for a grade change. In our case, within 10 years, you can easily become a scale 3 officer, that is a senior manager in a bank.
Now coming to the work area of a banker and a civil service officer. So obviously in case of a banker, it's thoda sa restricted or constrained towards only the banking and financial portion. As a civil service officer, there is n number of varieties. There are departments, there are field postings, like a BDO has to take care of anything and everything regarding a block. In SDM office, you have to look after the revenue matters, you have to look after law and order, you have to look after elections, etc. If you go to the department, in any specific department, let's say you are in social welfare department, you are in education department, so you look after that issue. So over your lifelong career, you will be posted in so many different departments. So in a sense,
There is diversity.
yeah, there is diversity, and there is a saying that normally the interview panelist or the board itself, the TPSC or UPSC, they want generalists, the people who are jack of all trades, ठीक है, जो सब कुछ कर सकते हैं, जुगाड़ू in a sense. But as a banker, you have to be specialist. We don't want specialist, not we want, you may be specialist in one sector, but as a whole we want generalist who can take care of any field or any department that is thrown at you.
So for banks, it's it's something like your work area is restricted to your branch. So if you are an assistant manager, there are various roles and responsibilities, but yes, the work that you are entrusted with on a day-to-day basis is quite monotonous. I am talking about it, and it's monotonous because there is no diversity in it. See, there are few set rules and you are to follow that. Means we work on basically
RBI's guideline.
Yeah, RBI's guideline, and it's something like these are the rules set by them, and we are to follow that with each and every customer. It's the same thing. You go to a bank for cash withdrawal, you go to a bank for cash deposit, you go for mobile number updation, you go for a loan. These things are like the ongoing thing that has been going on for years and years and years. So there is basically no diversity. It's kind of boring.
अबे इतना भी मत बोलो, boring, people will not join.
No, people will.
Okay. Now regarding the time of work or the daily schedule of a banker and a civil service officer. As a civil service officer, I can say that your time is based on whatever is the need of the hour. You are a gazetted officer, you are 24/7 on duty, whether you are you are at home or you are at office. But you can say your day, the government timing is 10 to 5:30, but you can be called at morning 5 or 6, and maybe at night 10 or 12 or whatever be the time. Depends on, let's say you are in SDM office and there is a law and order situation at any time of the midnight, and you just have to go. You can't say ki it's not my duty. You have to do something about it.
So basically there is no time. They are on duty 24 hours.
Exactly.
And for banks, you have a specific time frame. That is, your work starts at 10, but we are supposed to reach office by 9:30. Okay, and for clerical staffs, it is 5 till 5. Okay, so when we sign our agreement before joining, for probationary officers there is no end time, but it is said that there is no end time just because of the fact that if your manager asks you to stay at office till 8 or 9, you cannot say that my time is till 5, which the clerical staffs can. But for officers, you cannot say no to it. If your manager wants, you have to stay back at office, and if your work is completed and your manager is also fine with it, you can leave. So after 5:36 you can leave.
Now regarding the hecticness of the job, both the jobs are hectic.
Yeah.
Both the jobs are hectic. The time is not fixed for us, time is fixed for them. For banker, time is more or less fixed, but based on what's the need of the hour.
Yeah,
for example, demonetization. She had to be in office till night time.
I came back. No, not 8, 9.
Okay.
8, 9. The cash went up till 8 or 8:30, and then I came back home at 12:30 in the night, I guess. So demonetization is one thing. And suppose I'll give you an example. Suppose you are a branch manager or an assistant manager, whatever, and the cash doesn't tally that day. It's not something like you can say it's the headache of the cashier. You also cannot come back home because the cash hasn't tallied, and you have to stay back till the cash tallies, and there are lots of other procedures that goes on after that. And another thing is, for the day end procedure of the bank runs EOD every day. We have to, okay, because basically the bank job is something like you cannot keep anything on pending. You have to complete it on
हम
day
लोग
to
ये
day
कर
basis.
सकते हैं कि हाँ आज लेट हो गया,
लेट हो
रख
गया,
देते, कल
कल करते हैं. बट
That thing is
बैंक
not
में ऐसे
possible in
नहीं
bank.
होता है, बिल्कुल नहीं होता है. बैंक में हर दिन का काम हर दिन में खत्म करना होता है. एंड अगर आपका ईओडी नहीं होता है, सपोज द ईओडी फेल्स ड्यू टू सम रीजन, 2 officers have to remain present at that point of time because the other person cannot log in.
Preparing with a job,
No, none of the jobs are easy.
which is easier? Preparing with the job, see, basically you have to give 5 to 6 hours or maybe 6 to 8 hours for any exam that you want to crack.
See, I'll tell you one thing. For civil service aspirants, your like this study schedule or this time span you need to invest for to prepare for the exam is almost a year. For a good time of a good preparation, you need almost an year. But for banks, 6 months is sufficient.
Enough, exactly.
Okay, so that's the only difference that I can say. But you have to study.
And
Not study, you have to practice.
Or in a
so
sense-
you are investing time.
daily you need to give 6 to 7 hours.
Yeah.
So if you can find 6 to 7 quality 6 to 7 hours, well and good. If you can't manage
Whatever
that, then
be
it will be
the
difficult for
job, you need to stay determined. It's not something like हुलो तो हुलो, ना हुलो तो ना. If you are in that tone, नहीं होगा, किसी में भी नहीं होगा.
मान लो. So coming to the most important question that has been asked by you, salary. Salary, what's the initial joining salary? Initial joining salary, I would say कि both of the civil servant and bankers are more or less same in the range of, as of now,
No,
20,
after
21.
bipartite for
Okay,
bankers.
before bipartite,
No, even before bipartite, I guess it was almost equal.
that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying कि, अरे, I was going into I was not gonna say कि civil servant gets higher. I was gonna say कि in the range of 50 to 60,000 is where both the jobs give you initially. So initially both
even
are.
after bipartite, before bipartite it was less than 50, but after bipartite the first salary of a bank PO would be somewhere around 55,000.
But how do you see the increment over time, yearly, over let's say 3-4 years or over 10 years? What's the difference between the two services? So in that terms, I would say कि specifically state civil service, the increment compared to bank is very less. I won't say very, I would say very less only. Now that I'm seeing, and since bipartite of their bank has already been.
No, see, wait, I'll tell you one thing. Bipartite is somewhat like the you might not know what is bipartite. I would just give you an example. It is like the central government's 7th pay commission. Bank's salary is decided by bipartite settlement, and for central government it is the 7th pay commission. So every 5 years there is a revision of the salaries. So for us, just now the bipartite got passed, and people are getting the revised salary. But whatever it is, the revision happens after 5 years, and each year you get an increment. After completion of every 1 year you get an increment. But for bankers, your salary increases with the DA increase. So that is where it makes all the difference. I would tell you, like there are like 4 quarters, and you get almost like an increase of you can say I would just give you an example. Like my salary last month was something, and next month when the DA increased, it got increased by 2,500 rupees. And then it goes on, and after that you get an increment of 1 year. Over above you get
So
that
it's like
DA.
4 times in a year you get increment
Increase
plus
of salary.
annual increment.
Yeah. Plus annual increment, and now the bipartite happened.
भाई अपने को सिर्फ साल में एक ही बार इंक्रीमेंट मिलता है.
So that's the thing. And yes, there are other things as well. We get like the newspaper allowance, we get the conveyance, then we have medical, then we have LTC. See, the state government jobs,
After 10 years.
after 10 years you get LTC, but we get LTC from the initial phase of our joining. We get LTC after every 4 years. So
and if you don't go, you can encash it.
yeah, you can encash it. You can there is a leave encashment as well. You can sell your leaves for money. And
Not post retirement.
yeah,
That selling.
even now we can sell our
While in
leaves.
service you can sell your
Yeah,
leaves.
we can
and
sell our
get
leaves.
it.
And
Bankers' perks in terms of salary is quite higher than the civil servants. But civil servants get the vehicle, they get good quarter facilities.
for bankers also you get leaves.
How? Yeah, obviously
You get
lease is
lease.
there, but the vehicle is they get in higher posts, I think.
No, the vehicle is, we are given the fuel expenses,
Fuel
we are given the
expenses.
conveyance expenses. We are not given the vehicle.
अच्छा, पैसा उधर ही जाता है. मेरा पास बोलने का जगह ही नहीं है. Anyways, respect is there in both the
Yeah.
services.
No, but I would say कि people would look up on you when you are a civil servant, or when you just introduce yourself as a civil servant. There is a different level of respect.
Obviously.
No denying the fact, there is a different level of respect. And for bankers also, you have that respect. Obviously you have a respect in your society. But yes, the civil servants are always like, ये तो मतलब हो गया ना, ये चीज़ तो
No,
मतलब
just consider the fact कि, for example, as a civil servant in a state like Tripura, there are maybe around 400 to 500 civil servant currently working in the state of Tripura. That's it. Now, if obviously that makes a unique or niche set of officers in the state, so you by default get a little bit of more respect in this field.
पर
So-
शादी मत करना civil servants.
Because the life is hectic for the wives, and they had to tackle. For someone who is working,
It's very difficult.
it's difficult because they will be obviously posted in different,
Different
places. Yeah.
And then you have to handle everything like single-handedly. Basically, you are managing everything single-handedly. So it becomes thoda sa hectic.
If the partner is not working, then maybe it's
Yeah,
thoda sa
you can
obviously
just
better.
adjust. She can go and stay.
Exactly.
But for partners who are working, it's very
It's
difficult.
very difficult. Anyways, the thing is, everyone's journey is different. If you have started preparing now, or you are in a job, you want to switch job, you want to get into banking or civil service, everyone is there to give you one or the other idea regarding preparation. Even I am also giving here, she is also giving you ideas here.
But you are the person who will decide the best
Yeah.
for you.
Our journey, my educational background, how I got to know about the job, my idea about the job, why I wanted to join this service, that will be obviously different for you. So you have to decide कि भाई तुम्हारा strength क्या है? What's your strength? What's your weakness? For me, let's say I am good in not good in, I would say, I would not brag about it. I think I know a little bit about economics, but I am weak in art and culture. So if someone's study plan is like focus more on art and culture and I start following him, then obviously it will not be good for me. ठीक है ना? So listen to each and everyone, but do your own. Judiciously think about what's good for you, and then start preparing for the exam, whichever exam it is.
And I guess we have given you an overview of the work that needs to be done by you after joining in both these services. And now I guess you would make a good thinking of what would make you more interested in which field.
Yeah, exactly. You want to put an impact in the society. Civil service gives you that. You want to give better service to the people in terms of banking. The banking job is there. There are so many government policies which go through the bank.
And see, I would tell you one thing. The common thing between these two jobs is, during this COVID times, we realized that both these are essential services.
Exactly.
You have no facility of work from home. That is totally khatam, and I feel unlucky at times. For bankers, it is never ever possible for you to work from home. You cannot do that. If you are at home, you are marked absent. Basically, you are marked absent. And yes, for bankers, you have to keep in mind the attendance is mandatory, and your login, your in time, your out time, everything is under surveillance. And
ठीक है,
they are very,
उतना सर्वेलेंस हम लोगों का नहीं होता.
हाँ,
That's
exactly. वो अच्छा चीज है इनका. That is really good of him. Means I am very jealous कि उसका कुछ नहीं है. मेरा तो login time होता है. I have to be at office.
Anyways, to sum it up in a way, see, to prepare for, since this is a civil service wala YouTube channel, so for the preparation of civil service exam, or now I would say ki for banking also, have the discipline. Have the discipline, and the habit will sort of sustain at it, and it will grow with you. See, motivation, I give motivational quotes in most of the my videos, but those are useless if sort of you don't have the discipline to carry on doing it each and every
You
day.
need to have that determination. You need to have that spark in you.
That spark, let's say you watch this video and suddenly you get that spark, your adrenaline is pumping up, and you reach a level कि नहीं आज से पढ़ाई चालू करना है, you have made the whole timetable and everything, but वो अगर adrenaline खत्म हो जाए, then again you are back to watching movies, serial,
Watching IPL.
IPL देख रहे हो, ड्रीम 11 में
पैसा
लगा रहे हो, पैसे तो आ नहीं रहे, फिर भी पैसे उधर से मम्मी पापा से लेके लगा रहे हो. But the thing is, once you get that adrenaline, you reach the mountain, and there is a plateau. Plateau in a sense, there is a plane, and you have to keep on carrying and working each and every day. So that level you have to reach where you motivate yourself and sustain going on reading, practicing each and every day, and that thing only will take you to clear any of the exam.
Both these are competitive exams, so you know.
So that's it, guys.
Yeah, I guess it's time to
quite a
say
long video.
Goodbye to all of you.
So
I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and if you did, please do comment down below, like the video, subscribe to this channel.
any other query that you have, please write it in the comment. We'll try to make some other video like this. That's it, guys. Bye.